Sram AXS. We're going to watch the Sram propaganda. We're going to watch the Sram advert. Check this out. Check this out.
You don't mimic a mechanical system with an electronic system. You build an electronic system to do things that a mechanical system can't do. Doing products differently, but with an intent to make bike riding better is kind of our goal. And that's where XX1 came from, that's where Eagle comes from, and that's where AXS is coming from, which is trying to make the bike ride better. I think you got to get people into the red a little bit. When you start sweating, that's when it just really comes alive. You just push the button and what you want to happen, happens. And that's where we really focus, is making sure that it's right for riders. Pushing with shifter is not so hard today, but if you can make it easier, you can make it better, you can make it smoother, that's kind of what we wanted to do.
I didn't have really to think about or to use any force. I just pressed those buttons and the gears just jumped in.
AXS is the umbrella that all of SRAM and RockShox's electronic components live under. All these things come together to make the next generation of superbike. Basically, on a mountain bike, we have three functions. We have a seat post, we have an inboard shift, and we have an outboard shift. Those three functions are controlled by two controllers at the moment. You can use the AXS app to tell the products to do exactly what you want them to do, and that's what kind of gives us a lot of really cool opportunities in the future to do neat stuff. You could use drop bar controllers with mountain bike rear derailleur and cassette, so you can build any kind of bike you want to build. The app does give you the opportunity to do a lot of cool stuff. Not just change what the controllers can do, but also you see how many shifts you've done, you see how many hours you've ridden, you can check battery levels, you can see service alerts, like you've ridden your bike 20 hours, so maybe you should lube your chain, that kind of stuff. It's a really neat tool, but it's not a tool that's necessary to ride your bike, so you kind of get the option to use it or not use it.
If you don't think it's the sickest bike in the world, like, you just hate technology. Like, that's flat out, man. It is the sickest looking bike ever. Just no cables up there, no spaghetti mask.
What we see today is you get about, in the system, 20 to 25 hours of ride time. Cool thing about it is that you don't have to drag your bike up the steps to charge battery. You simply pop it off and plug it into your computer, into a USB. It's also nice because the seat post and the derailleur use the same battery. So if you have one product that's a little bit lower on energy than the other, you can swap them around and use the same battery for multiple things. You can also carry a spare, and that would work on either your derailleur or your seat post. We built safety devices into this derailleur, one of which is a gearbox clutch. If it gets hit, it will move out of the way. It will then come back to the original position that it was in before. So in most cases, you don't even notice that something has happened. There's no need to reset it. It's simply a safety feature built into the derailleur to make sure that in the event of a smash, that nothing breaks. You remove hydraulic cables, you remove mechanical shifting and cables. The bike gets cleaner, it gets quieter. There's less things bouncing around on the front of the bike. It's really just a kind of an ultimate solution to making a bike one complete product, which actually translates to a really positive trail experience.
All right, so that's the Sram AXS. Let's go click on Cycling Tips. Cycling Tips. So this is going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive. Expensive. Let's have a look. See here. Continue reading. What's this pop-up? Oh, these adverts. Jesus. Alright, so what it is, if we get rid of that obnoxious advert there. So they're going for $46.30. So people were right. Harley, SRAM. You called it. I called it. The 53 was going to be a dinosaur. Now SRAM has killed the 53. They're doing the 5037. All right, and then they've even killing the compact. They're doing a 4633. So I'm a fan of that. I would even like a 4630. I'm not sure I don't even know why they went to 33. I would say go 4630. Maybe the next batch will be a 4630. So that's 1-1, a 1-1 ratio, which is good, but still not really enough. Because a lot of these gravel bikes, you put bags on them, you put a fat rider on there. A 1-1 ratio isn't enough yet. For a gun climber, 1-1's good. For an overweight person who's doing a low carb diet, trying to do gravel riding, they're going to be walking their $10,000 bike up the hill, and that they ain't going to enjoy that. So I would say they should do a 46-30. 46-30 for 34 in the back. I'm not sure why they're going the 33. Why not just do a 34? Anyway, come on, this is adventure gearing, people. This is adventure gearing. Who the fuck wants to walk a $10,000 gravel bike up climb? Not me. Not me. So we've got a new free hub body, it's the XDR. So yeah, this is interesting stuff. The flat, that's a pretty interesting looking chain. That's very, very interesting. I love all the engineering that's gone behind this. Even that stamp red, that's like an old school font, isn't it? It looks very, very ancient, very old school, very, very old school. I like that. That's pretty cool. So what's cool about it is that you can, again, this is another durianrider thumbs up, is that you can have that cross compatibility again. Remember SRAM 10 speed was cross compatible, which I loved, and now the 12 speed stuff, the AXS is compatible, so you can run a 50 cassette on your road bike with road shifters, ETAP, the new 12 speed with an Eagle 12 speed rear derailleur there. So that's pretty cool. So that would be good for the gravel crew. Be cool. So yeah, what else we got here? Boom, 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 boom. But then again, hey, sorry. Let me go back here. All right, so 4630, scrap that. That cassette, now you can run a 50 on there or a 42. All right, so again, so that's fine. So I take that back. A 4630 is still better than a 4633, but that cassette, we can go a 50 now because we've got cross compatibility. All right, so that's good. So this has opened the door up for a lot of options here. A lot of options. So we'll finally see that 50 cassette on a road bike potentially, which will be great for that, super crazy climber, Everesting, etc. It will be great for that banker who's 30 kilos overweight, doesn't have enough carbohydrate yet, and is pushing, their bike up the hill. They'll have a 50 cassette on there and they can ride anything. So that's really cool. That's really cool. I am a fan of this stuff. Yeah, and the power meter controversy is that the chain rings are about $400 US, and to replace the chain rings, you also have to replace the power meter, which is a bit crazy. And also that's crazy because you're going to throw out all those strain gauges, throw those hopefully in the recycling bin, but a lot of people just chuck it in the landfill. So that's a bit disappointing with throwing away resources just to change chain rings. I don't like that. But apparently SRAM is going to be a force equivalent, and that is detachable Q-ring. So again, I wouldn't use these cranks. I'd use them, but I wouldn't buy them because it doesn't seem like a real environmentally sustainable. I just run a Shimano crank on there with absolute black 4630, and then run your SRAM ETAP derailleur off of that, and a Stages power meter. Cheap, light, strong. Pick all three. Yeah, so you're throwing that whole thing away. I don't know. That sort of does me a bit. It does me a bit. Comes in 1x, 2x. It's the dub. The dub bottom bracket standard. So the GXP is still there. So yeah, there's a new bottom bracket standard is out. It's called the dub. It's pros and cons. I'm not sure. I have to do a bit more research on that one. That is a very interesting chain line, isn't it? That's a very interesting chain line. Wow. That's really random. I'm not sure why it's flat top. So it's Force ETAP. There's no plans for mechanical red, which is great. And look at that pricing. Wow. It's about $4,000 wholesale in Australia. So it's a pricey group set. Rim, ETAP rim, dum. So again, what you could do is you could just buy a rear derailleur, front derailleur, and shifters, and they got a cheap sort of option there. So yeah, will I get a group set of this? I don't need one. I've got SRAM ETAP, I've got the Dura-Ace, I've got all the bling. There's nothing on this that really stands out for me that I want to get. I think there's definitely some pros and cons there. I like the cross compatibility for sure. Yeah, so that's probably the biggest thing for me is the cross compatibility. I like that you can run 50% on your road bike if you need to. So that is good. Other than that, I don't see much improvements in the SRAM ETAP currently out, but that cross compatibility, that's a bonus. That's good. That is about time. Cross compatibility, it just makes sense. So then people can have the gears they want. Let the rider have the gears they want. There's no point having an adventure bike with Criterium gearing on there. Adventure bikes, adventure gearing. Please. Very good. Bike bling, SRAM AXS. What do you think of it? Let us know down below. And also try and organise a little test ride there. Share my comments and criticisms. But I do like the system where you can change the batteries out and stuff like that. So that is sort of cool. Cross compatibility. I'll say it again. Interesting. The flat top chain. I'm curious about that. I'm curious.